Hello, everybody, and welcome to Help I Am an Adult podcast. I just realized I did not press record. In 3, 2, 1. Yo, season 3! Season 3! I'm so happy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Help I Am an Adult podcast. My name is Sharon Alfred, and for everyone who's tuning in for the first time, welcome. I'm so excited that you're able to join this season. And for everyone who has been listening to the podcast all this time since we started over a year ago, thank you for sticking around and coming back to listen. I'm glad that you are able to join me this season. And I'm so excited for everything that it has to offer because, season 3! Season 3! I'm so happy. And I've been working on and thinking of how to either make this season better, more accessible to everybody and to everyone really, and what we can also do to actually expand. So this season is a season of expansion. We are growing, we are thriving, we are getting our adults and lives together by just being ourselves, but also learning and also allowing ourselves to learn along the way and change where we need to change for the better, obviously. So this season, like I said, we're expanding, and I'm just going to quickly give a brief introduction of myself and the podcast for everyone who's listening for the first time. So I'm Sharon Alfred, like I said earlier, and I'm your host for this podcast. And basically the podcast started based on the fact that I just thought about it and did that. A lot of podcasts that we listen to are from people obviously older than us who have experienced stuff, and they talk about things from their experience and their point of view. And I was craving and wanting to just hear someone's perspective from my age, our perspective, like a normal person, not like a regular Joe, basically. Not that that's a bad thing to be a regular Joe, but I just wanted that. And again, it's also just technically like a therapy situation. So because I couldn't find any of that, I remember I asked a few friends what they thought about the idea of having a podcast, and they were like, yeah, go for it. And one of my favorite podcasters that I've been listening to, Lovey Ajayi and Yvonne Orji's podcast, Jesus and Love, shout out. They also mentioned in one of their episodes, look, anybody can start a podcast. There's an app that does this for you. And I just thought, you know what, let's just do it. So that's how the podcast began last June, I believe. So 2019 June. And we've been going on for over a year now, 2 seasons, and it's been great. I loved last season a lot. A lot happened, a lot of growth. Obviously, we're full on in lockdown mode. So that was what the season was based about, and how to basically survive through lockdown as young adults trying to figure it all out as well. So this season is more about expanding and what to even do, how we can just get through it in terms of, what was the word I'm looking for? Moving out of the lockdown, or actually using what we've learned in the lockdown to basically grow as adults today. So that's a brief introduction. This season we're expanding to YouTube. I'm so excited because, I've never actually done anything YouTube, but I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and it's all going to be raw. I try to keep things as real as possible. There's no faffing around. This is a home production in my room, like a microphone, my phone, and one ring light, and that's how it's going to be. And if we expand and I'm able to grow things beyond that, then of course, take you along with me on that journey. So yeah, we're on YouTube now, and also from the YouTube, it's not going to just be the podcast that's going to be going on. It's also going to have different playlists, if that's what I should call it, segments where I just show you guys how and the things that I do in my figuring out adulting life to actually get through adulting. So so let's get into it. And this episode, as the first episode of the season, I always like to do a quick catch up on where we left things last time and last season. And the season was all about, like I said, just surviving the lockdown is what we were on about last season. So based on that, I'm just going to start on our recap and let's delve into it. So first thing that happened that I should still bring up is that we are still in a pandemic. Let's not forget that coronavirus is still a thing that's out there. And as young people and as young adults, I know like it's getting really frustrating. We want to hang out with our friends. We want to like just be ourselves with our friends and get out and mingle again. But I also like there's nothing wrong in wanting that, but I'd urge us to actually do that legally. When I say legally, obviously in the UK there's the rule of sixes, and just for us to actually, again, just be cautious, be alert when it comes to how you handle yourself in public, around people. Don't just go around hugging anybody and everybody, because I would imagine no one's doing that, but I'd hope so anyway. I know there's also like everyone, as young people, there's also the term of YOLO and you only live once. But I'm sorry, if you're living once and coronavirus gets you and no one knows how the virus is going to actually, how their body is going to actually handle the virus. So I would urge you to actually you don't want to find out, because it could be worst case scenario. So I'd urge us to actually just, again, mingle safely, don't overdo it. And hopefully we'll all come out at the end of, on the other side of this, happy and healthy adults, having learned to be patient. I think patience is key. Patience is a lesson that we need to learn now more than ever. To just, again, let's just take our time. Use that time to reflect on you. Use that time to reflect on your friends. Use the time to grow yourself and be a better adult, if that's a thing. But yeah, that's what I think now, especially now that we're moving out of a countrywide lockdown. Well, we're not really in a countrywide lockdown in most places, but now that we're stepping out of that era of a lockdown, we should actually still stay alert and cautious on all fronts, is my thing. So that's the coronavirus. I don't want to stick to that too much. Another pandemic that's still around, by the way, just in case people have forgotten, is racism. And I know there was, in June, like the Black Lives Matter movement became more of an uproar and more in the limelight and all of that stuff, which was great, and we're grateful that people decided are aware of it, more aware of the injustices that go on and happen to Black people all around the world. As you can see, I am a Black girl, Black woman living in the UK. I've had my fair share of racist comments and racist microaggressions and macroaggressions actually towards me. So this is something that definitely hits home. But again, it's just a reminder that Black lives still matter. Like, we're still here. This is still a battle that's going on. Because it's not on the front pages and on the news every single day anymore doesn't mean it's not happening. So let's all just be grown-ups and be adults and respect each other, treat each other nicely, treat each other with just as human beings, human to human. And remember that no one chose the color of their skin. We came to this world as we are beautiful, imperfect humans. Yeah, and we're made to actually communicate and commune with one another. So if you're a racist person, just know you're in the wrong. That's basically the summary of this. I don't know what I'm blabbing on. It's straightforward. Racism is not it's not a thing. It's not something that should exist. So, no. Another thing, while I'm on the Black Lives and things that are affecting Black people around the world, I know there's various countries in Africa going through so much right now as well. And I'm Nigerian, so specifically the protests going on in Nigeria right now, being fought and raised by the youths of Nigeria. I am with you in spirit. I am with you, praying alongside you, hashtag EndSARS. That's just, I did not know any of this was going on. When I growing up, my first 12 years in Nigeria, I won't say I was shielded, but I was very much oblivious to some of the things that could be happening to people around me. And now that I'm at this age, if I lived in Nigeria, God forbid, but it literally could happen to anybody that I know back home. So I am standing firmly strong with Nigerians in Nigeria on the ground, fighting, protesting, doing what they can and just driving and fighting for that change that's needed. So yeah, hashtag #EndSARS. Just to interrupt here, I just want to emphasize that this was recorded before the incident and the very unfortunate occurrences that happened on the 20th of October at Lekki Tollgate in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria. And again, what I think I've said still stands, and I'm just again solidifying my solidarity with my brothers and sisters in Nigeria, my friends, and with families who have been affected. My condolences to each and every one of them. And it just shows how much we need to actually keep raising our voice and fighting for the cause, because SARS needs to go, bad governance in Nigeria needs to go. And yeah, I just thought I'd let you guys know, give you that update. But if you don't know about it, please go. Social media is covering everything, and anyone who calls it false news, we got a problem, because yeah, I cannot unsee the things I saw that night. So yeah, again, my heart is with every Nigerian youth, every Nigerian who's fighting for the cause. So I highly recommend and ask that you guys go research on what's going on and how you can also help. On my personal account on Instagram, I've put a link in my bio that basically shows you like petitions and organizations you can donate to, petitions you can sign, and organizations you can donate to. So please, I encourage you to do so. And my Instagram handle is Sharon Ife Alfred. I'll put it just below here. There's a lot of social media posts about everything going on. There's so much injustice in the world. We can't, if we're to pick up and fight every single one, well, we're going to be also exhausted. So find your injustice and fight for it. And also, like, I would encourage us to not actually guilt people in not like sharing or posting or anything like that on social media, because you never know, like, people could be tired. People could have, battles are being fought every day by each individual. No one knows what this another person's battle is. So I don't know what it's called, social media shaming for not raising your voice on one injustice or another is not okay. So I would say, in summary of all this, like, I know the things I'm passionate about are fighting against racism, and obviously anything going on in my home country, Nigeria, I'm here for you. And there's so many other child trafficking, all of that. Like, there's just too much. There's too much. So I'm going to summarize it. Find your injustice and fight for it. Do not social media shame anybody for not raising their voice on an injustice that you think they should be raising their voice on. They have their own battles. And even if personally, I'll come to this in a bit, but there are times when people are just exhausted and they actually need to keep their mental health like secure and safe. So they're not posting, but it doesn't mean they're not thinking about it. So in a social media age, and I know as young people, that's something like we focus on, and we're thinking, oh, social media this, social media that. No, if me as a young person, I'm not posting about it every single day, every single month, or when it's in the heat, you don't know, I might be, I'm already been like, I'm fighting my own battles, and it doesn't mean I'm not there with you. It doesn't mean I don't believe in the cause. It's just sometimes you just need to take time for you. So for everyone who's currently either fighting against an injustice of any sort whatsoever, please don't forget to also take time for you, because your mental health matters as well. So that's my tip on that. And then I guess on a political front, because this is not really a political thing, our American friends, young people in America, if you're of voting age, I encourage you to go vote. That's all I'm saying about that. Go vote. And so final point on terms of an update on a personal note, again, this isn't relating to my second point of injustices and fighting and trying to break basically the mold of the system that's been built against people of minority backgrounds. We'll discuss that word later. But yeah, based on that, I know from the Speaking Up episodes from last season, if you haven't listened to it, available on most podcast streaming platforms. On that episode, I remember mentioning either the one with my friends or the one on my own. Like, I want to make a change in the community that I find that I deem viable for that change when it comes to fighting systematic racism or institutional racism and all of that stuff. And for me, that's within the workplace. And even though it's been COVID times, ever since this was prominent news, I've actually been a part of like meetings at least once a week, every single day since June, about changes that we want to make and all of that stuff. And of recent, I just realized that it dawned on me that I had been in calls every single week about this, and I'd not actually taken time for myself to reflect and for myself to basically just take some time out for my own mental health. So as of the end of this month, which is Black History Month in the UK, I am going to be taking a step back from that aspect of things at work. Like, I will still join a phone call, but not actually actively involved in planning or facilitating sessions and all of that stuff, just because it did get draining, and it became very draining for me to just keep saying, let's do this. Like, progress has been made. Trust, it's been slow, but I can see it happening. And I think it's the slow progress that's kind of made me kind of just be like, okay, you know what, since everything's going slowly, now is the time to take a mental break. And it's coming up to the end of the year. We can start afresh in 2021, fresh ideas, and just keep pushing and driving for that change needed. So that's the thing on the personal note. With the podcast, I'm sorry, like, for everybody who's been coming back to listen, that it's taken me this long to have season 3 out. But a lot has been going on personally as well. So I've had to be involved with like online church situations, so pre-recording for online church and editing for church and all of that stuff. And I also have my regular 9 to 5. So I'm sorry for the lateness, but at the same time, am I really sorry though? Like, we just got to believe in our own lives. That's the whole, like, you got to hustle, do whatever you got to do. As long as it makes you happy, that's all that counts. So on that note, I think that will be the end of this episode. So again, this was just an introduction and a quick catch up basically. And we're going to get into the nitty gritty of things going forward. So once again, thank you to everybody who's tuned in for this first drop of an episode. This will be our first full video on YouTube. So hello and welcome, and thank you for being here. I would encourage you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell button, and so you can stay up to date on every new episode drop on the podcast, but as well as any new content that's been posted on the YouTube page. And you can also go follow on Instagram at Help I Am an Adult, and also on Facebook you can like the page as well. I'm not really a big Twitter person, so I'm sorry in advance that I don't really communicate that much on Twitter. And I promise as well, for those who have been following so far, yes, content is going to be coming out on all those platforms as well, more frequently than it was. But again, don't hold me to it, because life, just life is happening. Anyway, so yeah, on that note, thank you very much everybody, and I will see you on the next episode, either of the podcast or of anything new dropping on the channel. Bye, and speak to you soon.